Greetings, welcome. Now this is the full moon on the 19th, I think it's the 19th, 18th, 19th of November, full moon in Taurus. It is a partial lunar eclipse, and they do say that eclipses are sort of like full moons on steroids anyway, but it is eclipse season. There are a lot of good astrologers on various platforms, YouTube, various podcasts, etc. So do check out information that's available out there. So we've got a reading, collective, very general reading for the collective today that is centered around this up and coming full moon. And I must say, an interesting thing, just as an aside before we get stuck into this reading, that I couldn't sleep last night, and because there are no lights here, the stars, of course, are incredibly up there in the sky, and I kind of noticed, I thought initially that I was imagining it, that I could see in the northwest a great elongated cluster of very minute stars, which I've never seen before with the naked eye. You know, I've never seen it actually through a telescope either. And consulting with a astronomer friend, apparently I was looking at the Scorpio constellation. So I'm going to try and see it again tonight. It was kind of amazing and very random. Anyhow, let's get in. We've got the cards face down today. We're doing a shortened Celtic Cross, which if you've watched this channel before, you would have seen me do this before. So let's have a wee look. Let's turn the cards up. These are this particular reading is incredibly general, so we'll just treat it in that manner. We will go through and clarify. So the central point of this reading, we have first and foremost the full, new beginnings, unencumbered, fresh start. We're not burdened by anything. We're not bogged down. And really, if we look around at the moment, gosh, there's a lot of stuff going on where it's hard to see the road ahead. But anyway, here we are with the full. Number 1, 0 point. It is crossed by the world. Yeah, we are heading into a completely new cycle. And this is uncomfortable. Let's face it, it's uncomfortable. And it's not to be avoided or to be fearful of. I think the generation of fear, whether it's on a personal level or collectively, can be sort of the beginnings of really feeling completely paralyzed. So we don't want to go down that path, you know. So here we start out with, these are pretty powerful two cards here. The beginning and in some ways the end. We've reached that point where we're starting again. The basis of this, we have the 8 of Cups. As I said before, we will clarify. The necessity for detachment and not being sentimental and not fooling ourselves, or if you could say that things will go back to some normalcy. I think there is so many reveals and so many big shifts happening now. This is a part, we can't really deny it. It sort of is becoming quite clear. It's a part of our evolution, really. And the 8 of Cups, you know, we go searching. We've actually worked towards this. You know, we've got 8 cups. That's quite a lot. But there's a point. This card speaks more of a sort of impersonal approach to current situations. And that, yes, we may well be heading off, as the Fool is, on a new journey. And we may well be looking to reach our Two of Cups, a position of consummate harmony and mutuality, peace, all those wonderful things, and choice on the tree of life there. Interesting. What's behind us, what's just recently passed, is really shining the light. And maybe we're moving forward a little bit ahead with this reading, but yeah, shining a light into those dark corners, beating the rug to see what lies underneath. And it reminds me of watching, it's just watching some old footage, black and white footage of years ago of a mouse, basically a mouse plague in Australia, in some rural areas in Australia, and people picking up sheets of corrugated iron, and it's just like a massive wave, which is all the little mousies doing their thing. Yeah, shining a light into the dark corners is what has been really going on collectively. We all know this. We're all here right now if we're watching this video. Current position, Knight of Cups. This glorious knight with a new offering, winged, quite mature. We don't want to get lost in any illusions here. Keep focused and remain open-hearted. Moving forward, more information revealed. We see traditionally in the Hierophant in the Thoth deck. This card is about esoteric knowledge. It is also traditionally about structures, the church, that used to basically run countries, nations, run the world, various, offshoots, different churches, whatever. The structures of power and action. So in the position of moving forward, the Hierophant, it's the key to opening this new door, which is part of this whole new period of change, which can be highly uncomfortable. Certainly when we look at what's happening globally in the news, but also on just a very personal level in our own world, it can be really uncomfortable. So in some ways, the feeling of these cards is that we keep moving, we retain an open heart, but within that, not to be distracted by illusions, and also approach things in an impersonal way, which means when we do this, we're not, for want of a better word, triggered or in reaction mode or in anger mode, I guess. Interesting. Anyway, let's go through. We'll clarify a wee bit here. So we understand, when we have the Fool crossed by the world, that this is like, wow, something's ended and something new is beginning. And it's that liminal time in between where things are very uncertain. We don't feel the same securities maybe that we have been able to rely on in the past. And so we sort of need to be brave without marginalising anyone's experience. We need to be brave in our ability to act in an impersonal manner, I guess, a level of detachment will help this sort of transitional period. But let's have a look at the Eight of Cups at the basis, which, you know, that is the basis of this reading. The Eight of Cups. Yeah, we need to be exploratory, open-minded. The Page of Wands is a very experimental, youthful card. Not afraid to try new things, not afraid to walk away from what we've always known towards something that's new and maybe unfamiliar to us. Experimental and risk-taking is the Page of Wands. Sort of is necessary at this time. The Hermit, please. I have pulled some other cards, just random cards. I must get an animal spirit card as well, that we'll just have a look at the end of this, going around this Celtic Cross. We were looking at the Hermit. Oh God, this always happens. You know, shining a light. I mean, actually shining a light. Shining a light. Here we have the Hermit. Shining a light on the things that we value. We get the Hermit again here, and the Nine of Discs. The Nine of Discs is what surrounds us. It can be about being self-made, what we've created in our own world, in our life, and the life of others also, but it is truly quite an independent card. It would suggest that really our ideas of what we value have shifted and altered as we've kind of shone a more forensic light into matters of what is important to us, whether that be individual or collective, and we see new things. Just the general sort of situation of the last couple of years has really brought this on and accelerated it. So, you know, we're altering our view. We're seeing new things. We're seeing new possibilities, which is wonderful. And maybe this full moon really, really illuminates this for us. Like it's a real sort of opening of the floodgates in some ways. Let's look at the current position of the Knight of Cups, sort of keeping the heart open, not being, and the Ten of Wands came out, not being burdened by the illusions that one may see in one's goblet in the cup. Get yourself sort of clear on what you are offering, not only to yourself but people around you. Be very clear on that, because I do feel just generally energetically at the moment there's no room for trickery and integrity. More to the point, there's no room for well, there's no room for illusion. I mean, there's always room for illusions, but it's only going to somehow, this is just what I'm getting from these cards, somehow prolong this sort of liminal zone, this transitional zone. Yeah. And as I said before, the fixation or concentration of and on fear of unknowns is not going to do us any favours. We have the, we're just getting all these wonderful cards coming out. The Nine of Swords here, about nightmares, catastrophic thinking, unfounded, actually. It binds us up. It stops us from seeing what essentially is truth. And of course, truth is many different things to many different people, but let's just Let's just get just one more card for that position. So yeah, difficult current times. But of course, nothing lasts forever. Everything's moving and shifting and changing all the time. And we can play a part in that. We have the magician. What does he have in his, he have in hand? This gorgeous wand. The will. The ability of choice. Wise choice. You know, a bit of self-reflection never goes astray in order to figure out wise and wise choice for ourselves, you know. And I do here err on the side of caution. We have to work together here with the Three of Discs, a card of building new foundations. We've got the ability to do this in a different way. In a slightly different way, you know. Collaboration is very important. And with collaboration, this fella will always have levels of confusion, figuring out the power dynamic. This Prince of Swords is all about figuring it out. Is experimental yet again, but figuring out the dynamics of power as much as our own as others or institutions or whatever. Where is our centre of power here? It's all very full on. Let's have a look moving forward with the Hierophant. This sort of you know, it's kind of like, it seems like in this reading, and it is obviously a really general reading. We're just looking at just the general energies at this time. And I'm doing this earlier. I just sort of felt the need, that things seem to me feel like they're sort of speeding up a little bit at the moment. It sort of felt like a good time to be doing this reading. So when we're looking at the Hierophant here, this gorgeous Hierophant, we do have a choice here. We've got quite a clear-cut choice in my mind. We have the Five of Cups. So we can see, you know, we're talking sort of personally, collectively, you know, this sort of overall idea that, yeah, look, there's a level of disappointment in this card. It's about disappointment and melancholy, and yet we do have these two cups, and we see at the basis of this reading, we're actually looking for these two cups. From the Eight, we walk away and we go looking for it. And this is the basis. We're looking for harmony. We're looking for more reciprocity. We're looking for a kind of level of wholeness in a collective way. So it's quite big. But with that Five of Cups, we have the Six of Discs coming out. We have a clear choice here. This is mutuality. This is a generosity that's sort of born from, you know, generosity doesn't, the coin is a symbol, you know. It doesn't have to be a kind of financial exchange. It can be vegetables. It can be food, you know, anything, flowers from the garden. It can be anything. But what it is an exchange born of knowing that what you offer out without anything attached, that you know it comes back. to you. You know that something does, because that's the way it works. And everyone, I would imagine, you know, on the planet has experienced that. So we know that it works. It's sort of self-supporting and mutually supporting. This idea of generosity, this ability to do that. So we're, values, priorities, maybe some revelations that sort of, blow a few more things out of the water that we once believed in. Who would know with this full moon? So let's just get a pixie and fairy card, from Brian Froud's Fairy Oracle. Now, to have a wee look. We've got a few. We've got too many. We've got too many. We do have a card that was away from the others. It is Spirit Dancer. It is about, look, there's a message of, look, opening up the heart, really, in this reading. We've got the Spirit Dancer, which is about freedom of expression. And just really letting your flag fly, or flag, not the right word maybe, but just letting yourself express freely without fear. Without fear of reprisals as well. Like, there's so much information sometimes that comes through in these readings that it sort of sometimes does get a little bit overwhelming. What I'm going to do is just shuffle up the Animal Spirit, Kim Cran's beautiful deck. And we'll pull a card. See if something jumps out. Put that face down. And we'll just have a look at these other cards that I pulled earlier, and they've been face down. Now, this may feel like a slightly disconnected reading. Sometimes they do. To me, it feels uncomfortable. My eyes are suddenly all kind of sticky and itchy. Not with hay fever. Dry balls. Dry eyes. It feels uncomfortable because we are in a sort of uncomfortable time. So let's just have a wee look. Look, we've got Revelation from the Journey Map. This is a beautiful card because it indicates that what we've actually learnt a lot over the last several months or so. We feel that we need to celebrate that. We need to celebrate it. There's an internal party going on in this card, and it's not something that we need to kind of shout out about, or we can light some candles or at night and let them shine. It's kind of like that. It's a bit of a private party. There are some things that we, like epiphanies, there are certain things sometimes we don't need to tell anyone about yet. We just know that we've kind of moving up our internal mansions, those within. We're moving up. We're understanding new things. We're getting glimpses into new doorways, into new hallways, balconies, and it's beautiful in that internal mansion. So we quietly celebrate to ourselves, which that's a nice thing to have. And so is commitment, shared integrity. This is another directive for us all. Of course, we have to find what that is for us within ourselves, as always, and express that out. As we see in the Spirit Dancer, we express that out because action, with the Harlequins and stars, action is a verb. We need to act upon things. We need to act. Wow, what's the right. Animal spirits. Animal spirits. I love this card. We have the shark. Very acute awareness at the moment. And leading up and going through the entire month, I do think, and into December. We've got very acute little spider senses here. We have the shark, and it's about smell, trusting your instincts here, trusting your really basic sort of instincts, sensory, gut, all of that. It never lets you down. So I'm just thinking here, have we forgotten some? No, we haven't. So that's the reading. I mean, it's quite self-explanatory, and it is a reading for the collective. So thanks for joining me. Look, I hope you're having a wonderful week, and that it just gets better leading up to this full moon time. So again, thanks for joining me, and check out your other astro signs that are coming in very soon. Ka kite. Bye.